Hi students, how are you doing? Welcome to the program Towards Excellence in SPN 2021, organized by PPD Cebu. I'm teacher Adeline Kaur from SMK Tiong Hin. For today's lesson, I'll be covering Paper 2, Part 3 of the writing task. I will focus on review writing. These questions will appear in Part 3 of your Paper 2. I hope you take this opportunity to gain knowledge and do revision. What exactly is a review? A review is a critical appraisal of something you have experienced. For example, you may write a review of a restaurant, a movie, or a place you have visited. The aim of the review is to give information and your opinion of your experience. It can be positive or negative responses. Therefore, your review should include facts and opinion, well supported by details. In your exam, you may be asked to write a book review, movie review, song review, or review on places, for example, a restaurant, a cafe, hotel, resort, park, canteen, library. Other than that, you may be asked to write review on camps or review on products such as mountain bike, smartphone, laptop, running shoes. So these are the types of review questions that you may get. We are going to learn how to write an amazing review. Before we begin, please take note that you are required to write in about 200 to 250 words. If you write less than 200 words, then you will not have included all the information necessary to complete the task. But please remember, do not count your words. You do not have time to count your words in the exam. It is better you spend time to check your essay for spelling and grammar mistakes. And before we move on, always remember that unlike an article, a review should be written in informal to neutral register. This means you can use phrasal verbs, you can use idioms, you can use contractions, and you can be creative in writing a review. Let's look at the tips on how to tackle the task. When you get your questions paper, the very first step you should do is to analyze the questions. Read and understand what is required by the task. Underline the keywords in the situation given. Note that you need to write a review. Highlight the 3 points required in the prompts. Pay attention to the word limit. Step 2. Plan your response. Know what type of review you need to write, be it a movie review, book review, song review, website review, etc. Decide on a suitable title. Decide what to write for the introduction. Brainstorm for ideas for the 3 prompts. Usually you'll get 3 prompts from the question. Elaborate with supporting details. Organize your points into paragraphs. I will give you the structure of a review. Every review should have at least 4 paragraphs. And if you follow this structure, then your word count will be fine. Paragraph 1 and 4 are always the same. The first paragraph is the introduction. You will introduce the name of the film, book, restaurant, or the things you review. You give some general information about it. And it is very important that in the introduction, you will have to grab the reader's attention. For paragraph 4, it is conclusions. You will state your general impressions of the thing you review and whether you would recommend this to all or just a particular group of people. In the conclusion, you must make a recommendation. And maybe that sounds difficult, but don't worry, because I will tell you exactly what to do. Paragraph 2 and 3 depend on what the question asks you to do. But again, don't worry, because we will talk about different types of questions and the types of things that you have to write. For the content paragraph, usually you will give a brief summary and make comments about what you liked or what you disliked. And another tip is that when you write your review, do remember to use adjectives and adverbs to make it interesting. Don't forget to use cohesive devices and make sure that you use correct and consistent tense. Why do you need to plan? A review can be positive, negative, or mixed. This should be explained in the introduction. Is your review positive, negative, or mixed? This should be obvious from the introduction, remember? So in paragraph 2 and 3, you should explain your introductions, give reason to support your opinion. And finally, in paragraph 4, conclusions, you should make your recommendation based on everything you have said previously. It is very important that there is a logical progression to your review. This means that before you do anything, you should decide what you are going to review. And then, if your review is going to be positive, negative, or mixed, you have to plan. Finally, for step 3, now you can start writing your answer. Begin by writing a title, stating what review it is, and the name of the subject being reviewed. For example, a drama review, Squid Game. So have you watched this drama? It is very popular now. And after that, don't forget to write in the format of a review. First of all, we are going to write restaurant review. So I'm going to share with you how to write interesting, memorable, and useful restaurant review. We will begin by reading a sample of restaurant review. This practice is actually taken from the British Council website. You can follow the link to access the practice, or if not, you can just take out a piece of paper and then you write down your answer. Let's do the preparation task together. Which words would you see in a restaurant review? Choose the 6 correct answers. Okay, so take time to answer this. So you read through the 6 words here and then now you read through the words here. So which 6 words do you think you would see in a restaurant review? Let's look at the answer. So you definitely should tick the first word, mains. So mains refer to the main course or primary dish. And you should tick side order. Side order in the restaurant is an extra dish of food, for example, vegetables or salad that is served with the main dish. And we talk about the service as well. And tip. Tip is the money given by a customer to the waiter to thank him for his service. And you should tick reservations, booking, and finally order. So we move on to the reading test. So you will read a sample of restaurant review, and after that you will have to answer some comprehension questions.
Vega, New York reviewed yesterday. Great mains. Pity about the chips. Came for lunch with my sister. We loved our Thai style mains, which were amazing with lots of flavor. Very impressive for a vegetarian restaurant. But the service was below average and the chips were too terrible to finish. When we arrived at 1:40, we had to wait 20 minutes while they got our table ready. Okay, so we didn't have a reservation. But the restaurant was only half full. There was no reason to make us wait at all. We ordered the chips as a side dish and they looked delicious. But, when we tasted them, they were overcooked and swimming in oil, so we left most of them. We expected a lot more for $10. When the waiter asked if everything was okay, we said we really didn't like the chips and he said, "That's funny. I love them, and that was it." He didn't offer us anything else or take them off our bill. Also, when we didn't leave a tip, he looked annoyed. I was really excited about visiting Vega, and the mains were just fantastic, but the rest of the experience was really disappointing.
Okay, so this is an example of restaurant review. So you see that the writer talked about his experience visiting Vega. Let's look at the tips when writing a restaurant review. Use an informal or semi-formal style. In the title, you can give the main idea or opinion. Like for this writer, he mentioned great man's pity about the chips. From the title alone, so you can get some idea. So this is Meat's response. There's something that the writer liked and disliked about the restaurant. And remember when you write restaurant review, so you write about the main parts of the experience, not every detail. You don't have to elaborate in detail. Do remember to organize your ideas into paragraphs, like what the writer did. Write about the good and bad. Look at these questions on the right. Based on what you have read, choose the correct answer. Number 1, the review overall is A. Very positive, B. Partly positive, partly negative, or C. Very negative. So what do you choose? The answer is B. Partly positive, partly negative. So you can get it from the title actually. Great man's pity about the chips. And in the last paragraph, it is also clearly stated that the writer likes the chips. No, the writer likes the man's, but for the rest of the experience, it was really disappointing. So because of that, so we say that the review is partly positive, partly negative. Questions number 2. When they arrived at the restaurant, the problem was A. They had to wait. B. They didn't have a reservation. C. The restaurant was already full. The correct answer is A. So you can get the answer from the third paragraph actually. When we arrived at 1:40, we had to wait 20 minutes. Question 3. The best thing was A. The service, B. The side dish, C. The mans. The answer is C. So you can get it from the last paragraph. The mans were just fantastic. Question 4. How about the chips? A. Delicious, B. Overcooked and oily, C. More than $10. The correct answer is B. Overcooked and oily. You can get the answer from the fourth paragraph. 5. They didn't leave a tip because the waiter was. So what do you choose? C. Unhelpful. So from the second last paragraph, so you can see that the writer did not leave a tip because the waiter was unhelpful. Let's move on with task 2. When writing a restaurant review, we can give positive or negative responses. Try this task. Put the words in the correct group. So there are 2 groups, positive, negative. And you look at the words given. Amazing, overcooked, below average, fantastic, impressive, disappointing, terrible, delicious. Put the words in the correct groups. look at the answer. Those that have a positive meaning: amazing, delicious, fantastic, and impressive. On the right-hand side, the words that carry negative meaning: below average, disappointing, overcooked, terrible. So you see, different words that do have different meanings, either positive or negative. Let's look at task 3. You have to try this. Complete the review by using the words given. So you try to read through the sample review here, and after that try to complete the review by using the words given. So I will give you a few minutes to do this. Okay, so I'm assuming that you have done. Let's go through this together. Sandy's Cafe, a good option for a quick lunch. My colleague and I decided to try out this cafe near our office. The staff gave us a warm welcome. We asked about the ingredients of the 1. Dishes. Because my colleague cannot have anything with nuts in, and they were helpful. He, number 2, ordered a vegetable curry and I went for a toasted sandwich. Unfortunately, that was off the number 3 menu. So I had a 4 cheese pizza instead. The food, number 4, fast. The food arrived fast. The pizza was delicious. My colleague liked his curry too, but it was quite spicy for him. And then number 6, service. For both of us came to £20, including the number 7, bill charge. Then, which we thought was reasonable. I'll be back to number 8. Try that toasted sandwich sometime. So this is a sample review about a restaurant experience. Now that you have learned and you know how a restaurant review looks like, we will proceed to our writing task. Let's look at the sample question. You saw this in the local newspaper recently.
Reviews, please. Have you eaten at a restaurant in your town recently? If so, could you give a review of the restaurant? Write a review of what you like or don't like about the restaurant and whether you would recommend it to other people. The best reviews will be published in our newspaper next month. Write your review.
Let's analyze the questions. So you should underline keywords like have you eaten at a restaurant? So this is what the question asks you. Give a review of the restaurant. What you liked or don't like about the restaurant. whether you would recommend it to other people. So when you answer these questions, you have to make sure that you mention the name of the restaurant that you visited, you give a review of the restaurant, and then you have to say what are the things that you liked or don't like about the restaurant. And finally, you have to say whether you would recommend it to other people. Write your review in at least 200 words. And it is very important also to know your readers. So from the questions here, so we know that your readers will be newspaper readers. So this is the kind of questions that you may get in your exams.
Reviews.
Now let's look at this. So when we talk about a restaurant review, so what are some of the words and phrases related to a restaurant review? So you should include the restaurant name, the location. You can comment on the atmosphere, the menu, food and drinks, services, price, and recommendation. So these are the elements of a review about a restaurant. So for the restaurant name, you have to indicate the name of the restaurant. For example, Ayam Penyet Ria Restaurant, Cabai Hijau Restaurant, The Art Cafe and Restaurant, The Blue Door, Iftitah Sibu. So you mention the name. And for locations, how will you describe the locations? Let's look at the examples. The Payung Cafe is located in the heart of the city. The Art Cafe is located by the Rejang River. Master Ria Seafood Restaurant is located nearby the sea. Borneo Delight Restaurant is snuggled between the pool and the shopping mall. Next, the atmosphere. What were the elements of atmosphere? It can be the light quality, the noise level, the space, and the decorations. If the atmosphere is good, you can describe it this way.
The restaurant has a cozy and friendly atmosphere. The restaurant has a great and laid-back atmosphere. I enjoyed the splendid view. The ambience is charming and welcoming. It is a clean and comfortable restaurant. I was welcomed by warm and delightful ambience as I entered the place, with relaxing jazz music in the background and uniquely special decorations on the wall. It was a high-end restaurant with an elegant atmosphere.
On the other hand, if the atmosphere is bad, so this is how you can describe it.
The place was crowded and noisy. The atmosphere was gross and gloomy. The tables were dirty and greasy. The floor was wet and slippery. The lighting was dull and gloomy. The premise was filthy.
How about food and drinks? How you describe them? So these are some examples.
The dishes were mouth-watering, scrumptious, palatable, delectable. The masaman curry with lamb was excellent. The restaurant offered authentic Thai meal. The manok panzo bamboo chicken was awesome. Meals were prepared from fresh and healthy ingredients. The recipes featured tasty local flavors. The lamb was cooked to perfection, tender and juicy. The desserts were delightfully rich.
And if you found the food not tempting at all, how would you describe them? You can say it this way. Number 1, the dishes were very salty. Number 2, the food was cold and bland. Number 3, I could barely eat the oily fried rice. 4, the overcooked chicken was dry and hard to chew. The meat was undercooked. When you dine in a restaurant, you might experience either good or poor services. These are some examples to describe good service.
The service was unmatched. The service was top-notch by dedicated hosts. The service we received was amazing. The waiters were knowledgeable and made great recommendations. The service.
Okay, so these are the examples for you to describe good services. What if you are not happy with the service, like the one you will watch?
The staff was not friendly and hardly smiled. The wait time was obnoxiously long. The service was disappointing. The waiter was lazy and disappeared after serving the food. I was served the wrong meal.
Okay, so this is how you can talk about bad service. Move
The
on.
staff.
Are you satisfied with the price you paid for? If yes, you may elaborate it this way. The price is reasonable. The price is definitely worth it. The price may be expensive, but worth it. It is a well-priced restaurant. It provides customers with great value for money. What if you are not happy with the price you paid for? You may describe it this way. The dishes were overpriced. The food was not worth the price I paid for. The price was not comparable to the food and services. The bill was more than I expected. The bill was extremely expensive. Now that you know the ways to describe different elements, another reminder is use specific language to give your opinion. When you express your opinion, you can use phrases like, in my opinion, the dishes were overpriced. For me, the restaurant offers authentic Malay meals. You can use I think, I believe, I feel that. The service was slow even though there were fewer diners. I would say that the service was unmatched. It seems to me that the waiters were very friendly. Worst of all, the dishes were cold and bland. Okay, so these are how you can express your opinion. You use this specific language. Lastly, making recommendations. Would you recommend the restaurant to others? In the conclusion, you have to make recommendations, and this is how you can make recommendations.
I definitely recommend the Bamboo House restaurant. You should give it a try. You should not miss the chance to visit Islamic Nyonya Cafe. It is a great place to dine in and hang out. Sushi Thai would be a perfect Japanese restaurant for you. I would not recommend the restaurant. I would not go back there even if they upgraded their services. I do not recommend the service as the food is horrible and the service is disappointing.
So this is how you could make recommendations. And with that, you know the different elements for review writing, and you know the tips and techniques. Let's recall the structures of a review. So paragraph 1 would be the introduction. You mention the name and the location of the restaurant. And paragraph 2, 3, 4, or it can be 2 paragraphs, it can be 3 paragraphs for the content. It depends on what the question asks you. Usually you will describe the atmosphere, the menus or the services, and also the price. So for content, you can write in 2 or 3 paragraphs, depends on the questions. And lastly, for the last paragraph conclusions, you will express your opinions and then also your recommendations. So this is the structures. We go back to our sample questions. So this is the one that I showed you just now. So you have to write a review of the restaurant in your town, mentions what you like or don't like about the restaurant, and whether you would recommend it to other people. So how do you write it? If you do have a questions like this, of course, in the introduction, you have to mention about the restaurant name and locations. And then in the second paragraph, so you can describe the atmosphere, you can describe the menu or the price or the food you ordered. And finally, in paragraph 3, so you can comment on what you liked or don't like about the restaurant. And then finally, in the last paragraph conclusion, you say whether you would recommend it to other people. Remember to give reasons whether you recommend it or not. I'm going to show you the model answer. So this is the one. So let's look at this.
A restaurant review, the Soraya Thai restaurant. The Soraya Thai restaurant is a new Thai restaurant that opened its doors near the town centre just a month ago. I went along with a friend to see if they offer a genuine Thai experience for lunch. The place definitely looks the part, as I felt as though I had just walked into a restaurant in Bangkok. Even the waitress looked authentic, as she was wearing a traditional Thai silk outfit. I enjoyed the splendid view. The price was reasonable, but the menu was fairly limited. So we opted for the lunchtime special of a starter, main course and a dessert. First, we decided to share some spring rolls, which proved to be a good choice. For the main course, we had a Thai green curry and a large bowl of jasmine rice. The curry was a little too spicy for me. However, my friend thought it was spot on. After that, we ordered a bowl of tasty mango with sticky rice. It was delightfully rich and that finished off a memorable lunch. Considering the restaurant has only been open for a short time, it was great to see that it has got off to a great start even though it wasn't busy. I think you should give it a try. I am sure when word gets around about the quality of food, it won't be long until they will be taking bookings only.
Okay, so let's look at this restaurant review. So as you can see, the review begins with a title and then there are 4 paragraphs following the structures. And in this review, so you can
Restaurant
see
review, the Sarai Thai restaurant.
So in this review, so you can see there are some vocabulary related to the task, like the waitress, price, menu, lunchtime special. And we do have words like starter, main course, dessert. Bookings. So these are vocabulary related to a restaurant review. Other than that, the writer uses adjective and adverbs to make the review more interesting. Genuine, authentic, splendid, reasonable to describe price, fairly limited to describe the menu, too spicy, delightfully rich. And the writer also uses, and also memorable, another adjective is memorable to describe. And the writer also uses linking expressions such as first, however, after that. So this is how you can write a restaurant review, following the structure, following the tips and techniques, and then your review will be an awesome one. With that, this is what you have to do. So look at another sample questions. Reviews wanted. Have you been to a new cafe recently? Tell us about your experience. Your review should include information about the place, the food, the ambience, and the service there. Would you recommend it to other people? The best review will be published in our travel magazine. Write your review in 200 to 250 words. So let's analyze the task. So you have to underline words like new cafe, and then you have to write a review. So the prompts are the place, the food, the ambience, and the service. So you have to comment on all these things. Would you recommend it to other people? So you give your recommendations. And to pay attention that your audience would be the readers of travel magazines. And then you have to write review, and then the word limit is 200 to 250 words. So can you try this? Following the structures, following the tips and techniques, write your review, and when you have finished writing, you should submit your review to your teacher. Okay, do take time and try to write. Let's continue. Do you love watching movies? I believe many of you do, right? Because it is something that can make you happy, something that is fun and interesting. So after you watch a movie, so how do you share it with your friends? How do you express your opinion on that particular film or movie? That's why what we're going to do next is learning how to write film or movie review. We will begin by playing the quizy game. We'll learn some vocab related to movie review. You can use Discord to play the game, or you can follow the link. If not, we can just do it together. So first of all, you can type your name and then click start. Questions 1. So which genre is this movie? This is Harry Potter. I think the answer is fantasy. Correct. Questions 2. So which genre is this movie? This is 12th Drawn. This is, I think, it's action. The series of events that form the main story. Scene, plot, genre, screenplay. So I think the answer is plot. Which one is not a comedy? Night School, Hangover, this one. A genre with stories set in the future or in the outer space. So this is a science fiction. A very popular movie actor or actress, we call it movie designer, movie star, movie goer, movie engineer, movie star. The person in charge of making a movie. Cast, producer, director, comedian, director. A film with lots of funny scene, comedy. Which film is not a documentary? Which one is not? I think it's Harry Potter. A kind or style of music, movie, TV show, painting, etc. So this is this one? Genre, yes. A movie that both children and adults can enjoy. Family movie. Another name for movie, entertainment, screen genre, film. Enjoyment from movie, concert, TV show, etc. Entertainment. A written dialogue for the movie. Script, screenplay, the plot or module, which one? Script. The flat surface that a movie is projected onto, so we call it the bulletin board, whiteboard, screen or wall, the screen. Not now. A place where the movies are shown on a big screen, so we call it the cinema. One of the people in the story, so do we call it the person, the character, director, cast, artist? I think it's the character in the story. Yes, the one in the story is what we call the character. An example of science fiction: Hangover, Frozen, Tong Yong-hwan, Interstellar. I think this is the science fiction. A movie with many exciting and violent scenes. Thriller. Oh, I got it wrong. It should be action. A film that's about real people, events or issues. So this one is documentary, science fiction, history or fantasy documentary. Okay, so I do have this redemption question. A movie with many exciting and violent scenes. So do you still remember the answer? It should be action movie. Okay, so all done. So how about you? So how many questions that you get it right? So remember, these are the vocab that we need when writing a movie or a film review. Move on. If we are to write a film or a movie review, so it will be useful if you know the types of movie or the film genres. Usually, we do have action movie. This type of film has a lot of action scenes, including violence. And we also have adventure, animated, comedy, those funny movie, drama, fantasy, historical movies. So historical movies are usually based on real events in the past. Horror movie, so this is the favorite for many people. Musical, you have a lot of songs and music. Romance, love stories. Girls usually like this. Science fiction, so these are the fictional stories, so that means it's not real, and then it is based on science. They can be about the future or other beings or worlds, often include spaceships and advanced technology. And we have thriller, western, hybrid genre. So remember, these are the types of movies. With that, let's try this film genres quiz. So we'll watch this YouTube movie together, and at the same time, so based on the scene, you try to guess which one is the genre for that particular film.
Good grammar and spelling are important.
So how to play it, look at the video clips, guess the movie genre from the 3 choices. Wow, look at this one. So what movie genre is this? You see, this is boxing. So what do you choose? 1. Mystery, 2. Action, 3. Science fiction. Which one? Yes, the answer is action. This one, so cute. So what movie genre is it? I think it's quite obvious, right? You definitely know the answer. Musical, comedy or cartoon? Which one, students? Cartoon. Number 3. This is so cute. So what movie genre is it? Musical, comedy or cartoon? Which one do you think is the answer? People laugh. Yeah, something like this is what we call comedy. Drama. You know this magical one? Does this look familiar to you? So what's the answer to this question? Drama, action or fantasy? Yes, the answer is fantasy. Like the very popular Harry Potter movie, it is fantasy. Look at the kind of feeling it creates in you. What's your answer? Horror movie. So the answer is mystery, a movie detective. Question number 9. This is a love story, right? So the answer is romance. Okay, so if you have a story about alien outer space, so this is science fiction.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. Okay, so I hope that you do have fun with this film genre quiz. And with that, we are going to learn how to write a film or a movie review. So when we write film or movie review, so what should we focus on? Introduction, the content, your favorite scene or feature, your favorite character or actor, conclusions, rating or recommendation. So you see, we begin by writing the introductions and then we end by writing the conclusions. And then for the content, usually we'll tell the plot of the movie, and also you can comment on your favorite scenes or the features that you liked or your favorite character or actor. Of course, you need to support it with reasons. So look at the tips on how to write a film review. So this one is actually taken from your Full Blast textbook on page number 93. So remember, when writing a film review, so we have to choose a film that you know well and you make plan of what you are going to write. Again, you have to determine, are you going to write a positive review or a negative review? Remember to use the present simple to describe the plot, and don't include too many details and don't review the endings. If you tell too much or if you review the endings, people might not be interested to watch the film anymore. Remember to use a variety of adjectives to make it more interesting. Use the present simple or the past simple to make comments and to give your opinion. This table will be useful for you to write your film or movie review. So when writing film or movie review, so you should include the title of film, director, and also leading actors. So for this part, we usually write in introductions. In the second paragraph, you will write the plot, so what's happened in the story. And other than that, when you want to give comment, so you can comment on plot, acting, soundtrack, special effects, costumes, or the ending of the film. So you can categorize it into excellent, good, or not good. Let's say if you think that the ending is not good, so you have to support it with reason. Why? Is that because it is a sad ending? Or because your favorite character died at the end of the movie, so you think that it is not good? So you give reason. So we look at the structures of writing a film review. We start with introductions. And in the second paragraph, usually we write about the summary or the plot of the film. And the third paragraph, so we will give comments. Finally, conclusion. So in conclusion, we usually give recommendation and also express our opinions. So let's look at this plan. So again, this is taken from your textbook. When writing a film review, follow the plan below. Introduction. Give some general information about the film. Title, type of film, director, leading actors. Use phrases like, it's a romantic film, it's an adventure film, it's a horror film, an animated film, or a comedy. And then you can mention about the actor or actress that star in the film, or you can say the film stars, or who is the leading actor or actress, or who plays or who has the leading role. And then you can mention about the character and also the actors. The role of who is played by who, or which actor plays the part of or the character of. And then to introduce the director, so you can say it was directed by, so here you write the director's name. For main part, there will be 2 paragraphs. The second paragraph, you give a brief summary of the plot. You use phrases like, the film is set in, so you mentioned about the setting, time and place. The film is about, so you mentioned about the plot. The hero or heroine of the film, also you can further write about what the story or what the movie is about. And the third paragraph, make comments about what you liked or didn't like about the film. You can comment on the plot, the acting, soundtrack, special effects, costume, and also the ending. You can use phrases like, the film is action-packed, full of suspense. It includes some very amusing scenes. It includes some very violent scenes. The most outstanding feature is, so you comment. Remember, after you comment, you will have to give reasons and then you will have to elaborate on it. Finally, for conclusion, You state your general opinion about the film and say whether you recommend it or not. You can use phrases like, "It is a classic," "blockbuster," or "box office hit." So if you are not so happy with the film, you can say, "I was disappointed by the film." Or you can express opinions like, "It is a great film for action lovers." "It is a great film for horror fans." "All in all, I found the film boring." Or, "All in all, I found the film exciting." And when you give recommendations, so this is the example. "I definitely recommend it to film goers." "It's worth seeing," or "It's not worth seeing." "It was better than I expected." "You shouldn't miss it for the world." "It's suitable for both children and adults." "It is sure to appeal to all ages." If you haven't seen it, make sure you do. By saying something like this, you get to arouse the reader's interest in watching the film. Or you can say, "It's a waste of time and money." So if you do have this negative opinions, so you can say something like this. You'll be on the edge of your seat during the whole film. So this one's positive comment for you. It is a very interesting film that you will not leave your seat. Last one is unlike anything you have seen before. With that, we look at the second sample question. You recently saw a notice in a travel magazine. Write your answer in 200 to 250 words in an appropriate style on this question paper. Reviews needed. Have you seen any good movies recently? Email us your movie review. Tell us what you liked about the movie. Would you recommend the movie to your friends? Why? The best review will be published in our magazine. Write your review. So let's analyze the questions together. So reviews needed. Have you seen any good movies recently? So it's about movie review. So we know that it is movie review. Tell us what you like about the movie, so you should underline this one. So the question requires you to write something that you like about the movie. And finally, would you recommend the movie to your friends and give reason why? So we know that the audience would be the magazine readers. And the format is review, the test type is review. Okay, so we look at the word limit, 200 to 250 words. And then the text type is the movie review. And these are the prompts. So that means that in your essay, the third paragraph, you will have to write on what you liked about the movie. And then in the last paragraph, you answer this question, would you recommend the movie to your friends? And you give reason why. Okay, so with that, can you try writing this review on your own? Remember the tips I share with you. Remember the structures of a movie review. And then remember the phrases that you can use or the sentences for you to give recommendations, for you to express your opinion. So you can try writing. Of course, since this is the sample question, so I'm going to show you the model answer. Let's go through this together.
A movie review. The Beast Father, released globally on the 20th of June 2021. The Beast Father is an action movie guaranteed to capture the attention of most Asian movie lovers. It is the second movie directed by James Lee Kwan Fee.
So this is the first paragraph. So as you can see, so we need to indicate the title. We need to give a title. And in the title, so you will mention the title of review. Here it is a movie review and also the name of the movie, The Beast Father. And in the first paragraph, we do have the detail like the release date, the title. So what type of movie is this? So the genre, so this is an action movie. And also the director, James Lee. This is the second paragraph.
Set in a modern metropolitan of the 21st century. The movie is about a father's love and sacrifice for his daughter. The main character, Rick, a notorious gangster, is now trying to live a normal life by becoming a truck driver. One night, his daughter is kidnapped when she is out partying with her friends. Rick unites with his best friend and criminal investigator, and together they look for clues to discover her whereabouts.
So this is the second paragraph, so a brief synopsis of the movie. You get detail like the setting and also the characters. We do have Rick, his daughter, Rick's friend, and criminal investigator. And then you get to know the plot of the movie as well. And then if you look at the second paragraph here, does the writer elaborate a lot? No, right? Does the writer tell about the ending of the movie? No. So this is how you can write your second paragraph. And then we look at the third paragraph.
I like this movie because it is entertaining and has a great balance of action, comedy and suspense. The story progresses at just the right pace. Neither boring to the audience nor moving too fast where it loses the viewers along the way. Besides, I love the chemistry between the two best friends who both acted very well. The action sequences are top-notch, particularly those played by Rick, who has a kickboxing background.
This is paragraph 3, and then the writer responds to the second prompt, where the writer writes what he likes about the movie. So you see, when you express your opinion, you can use phrases like I like this movie, and then the writer gives reason. It is entertaining, has a great balance of actions, comedy, and suspense. And then the writer also mentions about the right pace, neither boring to the audience nor moving too fast. The writer also uses linking words like besides. I love the chemistry between the two friends, and the writer liked the action sequences, top notch. So this is to respond to the second prompt.
I like this movie because it is.
And we look at the last paragraph.
In conclusion, this is one movie you should definitely watch because I can confidently say that the 112 minutes spent on this film will fly by in the blink of an eye. It is the perfect popcorn movie to help you take a break and distress. I would definitely recommend this to all action movie lovers as well as fans of Asian movies.
Okay, so this is conclusion. You can find overall evaluations and also recommendation as well as the reason. So this is the answer to the third prompt. So according to this writer, so this is one movie you should definitely watch. And then this is the perfect popcorn movie. And the writer recommends this to all action movie lovers and also the fans of action movies. So this is how you can write a movie review following the structure. So you see, we do have introduction and then the summary, comments, and finally, so this is conclusion. So can you write something like this? Always remember the structures and also the tips. So this is what you have to do. Questions 2. Let's look at the questions together. Reviews wanted for a drama. Have you watched a drama recently? Tell us about your experience. Your review should include a short description of the plot and settings. Which part of the drama you liked or disliked the most? Would you recommend it to people of your age? The best review will be published in our magazine. Write your review in 200 to 250 words. So what should you pay attention to? So you can underline words like a drama. So you have to write a review about a drama. And in your review, you should include a short description of the plot and setting. You can underline plot and setting. Which part of the drama you liked or disliked the most? So you can choose one. So you can write which part you like the most or which part you dislike the most. Remember, you have to support it with your reason. So plot and setting you can write in the second paragraph, whereas your comment on the part that you liked or disliked, you can write in the third paragraph. Finally, another prompt is that, would you recommend it to people of your age? So you have to answer this one and then pay attention. So the question asks you whether you recommend it to people of your age. So that means, would you recommend it to your friends? And the readers would be the readers of magazine readers. Here, magazine readers. So the test type is review, drama review, and then you have to write in about 200 to 250 words. Try this. Choose a drama that you liked, choose a drama that you know, and write your drama review. Don't forget, you have to start by writing the title. So when you have finished writing, you can submit your review to your teacher. Finally, let's look at more examples of review questions. So these are some questions that you might get in your exams. Look at this one. Your teacher has asked you to write a review of a book you have read recently. The best review would be published in the school magazine. Write your review with the help of these questions. What is the book about? What do you like about the book? Would you recommend this book to people of your age? Write your review in 200 to 250 words. Let's analyze the task. So you know that you have to write review of a book, and then your audience is readers of school magazine. In your review, you need to answer these 3 questions. So, introductions, you can give general information about the book, like the title, the writer, or you can describe the writer. In paragraph 2, you give a brief summary of what the book is about. You can tell the plot of the story. Paragraph 3, you comment on what you liked about the book. Finally, for conclusions, you have to state your opinions and your recommendations. Would you recommend this book to people of your age? Next question. You recently attended a camp and your teacher has asked you to write a review of the place and the activities. The best review will be published in the school magazine. Write your review with the help of these questions. What is the camp about? What do you like and what could be better? Would you recommend it to others? Write your review in 200 to 250 words. So for this question, it says that you attended a camp and you have to write a review of the place and the activities. The readers of your review would be readers of the school magazine. You have to include all these points in your review. So for introduction, you give general information about the camp. You can mention about the name, location of the campsite, and the organizer. Paragraph 2, you give a brief description of the camp. You can describe what is available at the place. You can talk about the facilities and also the activities. Paragraph 3, comment on what you liked and what could be better. And finally, for the last paragraph, you state your opinion and recommendation. Do support it with reason. For these questions, remember to use past tense to relate your experiences as they are past events. The next question. You recently saw a notice in a travel magazine. Reviews required. Have you been to an island resort lately? Send us your review. What do you like about the place? Would you encourage your friends to visit this place? Why? The best review will be published on our website. Write your review in 200 to 250 words. Let's analyze the questions. So what should you write? You should write a review of an island resort. And these are the questions that you have to include in your review. And the audience would be readers of this travel magazine's website. In the very first paragraph, you give general information about the island resort, like the name, the location. And in paragraph 2, you give a brief description of the resort. You can write about the type of rooms available, the facilities, view, activities. In paragraph 3, you comment on what you liked about the resort. Lastly, you state your opinions and recommendations. Would you encourage your friends to visit the place? You give reason. Again, for questions like this, use past tense to relate your experience. Another example. You recently saw a notice in a community newsletter. Send us your reviews. Have you been to any shopping malls recently? Send us your review. Tell us what you liked about the shopping mall. Would you recommend the shopping mall to your friends? Why? The best review will be published in our community newsletter. Write your review in 200 to 250 words. So this time you write review of the shopping mall that you went to, and in your review, so you have to mention why you liked the shopping mall and would you recommend the shopping mall to your friends. And the readers will be readers of community newsletter. You begin by giving general information about the shopping mall. You can mention the names, the locations. Paragraph 2, you give a brief description of the mall. You can talk about the layout, the atmosphere, service, stores, restaurants, and types of items you can find there. And paragraph 3, comment on what you liked about the mall. Finally, for conclusion, you state your opinions and recommendation. You recently saw a notice in a magazine. Reviews wanted. Best handphones of 2021. Have you checked out any new handphone recently? Write a review and stand a chance to win a new handphone. Your review should include information about the phone, what impresses you the most and what could be better. Write your review in 200 to 250 words. So this time, you have to write review about a new handphone. And your review should include information about the phone, what impresses you the most, and what could be better. Again, in the very first paragraph, you give general information about the handphone. You can give the name, the brand name, the model, and also specifications. For paragraph 2, you describe the features that you liked. And paragraph 3, so you can write what could be better, give suggestion. Finally, you state your opinions and recommendations. So would you recommend the phone? So those are the types of review questions that you might get in your exam. With that, I hope today's lesson will be able to assist you in preparing for your SPM examinations. If you get a question asking you to write a review, so remember the structure, the tips and techniques, grammar and vocab that you can use. Do lots of practice. Of course, you show it to your teacher. So that's all for today's lesson. Thank you, everyone. Goodbye and good luck.